up guys, it's Jordan from TeasersBooks, and today I'm going to be doing my September wrap-up and my October TBR. In the month of September, I read 4 books, which is actually pretty good considering I was back in school, so I'm going to show you the books and talk about them a bit. So let's get started. First book I read in September was The Infinite Sea by Yancey. This is the second book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. Yeah, it's a trilogy. Yep, okay. And it was a really good book, but it definitely wasn't as good as the first one. It was actually fairly short because the first book was actually close to 500 pages, or over 500 pages, and this one is about 300. And I don't know, I thought the characters were really well laid out again, but I also thought that how he separated into books was cool, but at the same time I found it kind of boring. I'm still really looking forward to the next book in the series, which comes out next year I think, which is a long ways away. The ending was great though. The second book I read this month, which I actually don't have a physical copy of, is The Maze Runner by Dashner. I borrowed the series from a friend because I wanted to make sure I read at least the first book before the movie came out. The book was actually really good. I was a little bit skeptical going into it. I heard it was quite boring until the last 3 or 4 chapters, which it actually did pick up a lot in the end. Personally, I think the movie is way more exciting than the book, but it wasn't close to the book at all. If you haven't gone to see The Maze Runner yet, I definitely recommend you should, but I also recommend that you read the book first because it really helps you to understand and connect with the characters more. It's definitely not my favorite dystopian of all time, but it's still near the top of my list. Third book I read this month was My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. I read this book in a day. It was amazing. I loved it so much. It was so cute, and it was cute, but it was also dark at the same time. It was great because you really got to see Samantha and Jace's relationship really prosper throughout the book, and I really wanted that in a contemporary because most contemporaries the couple gets together at the very end. I really highly recommend this book if you haven't read it yet. It was a quick read and I just zoomed right through it. And finally, the last book I read in September is The Scorch Trials by Dashner. I read this and it was way better than the first one. This is my friend's copy, so thank you. Felt like it was a lot more intense than The Maze Runner just because they didn't know what was going on. At least with The Maze Runner, they knew that they couldn't go out at night and they had to find a way out of the maze. But this, they really don't know where they're supposed to go except for 100 miles north, or 100 miles in a certain direction. I'm really excited to finish the series with The Death Cure and then read The Kill Order, and I'm even more excited for The Fever Code, which is coming out next year, I think, which also ties into the Maze Runner series. And if you read the first book and didn't like it, you should definitely keep going because this book is worth it. So now I'm going to be doing my October TBR list. Hopefully I get to read a lot this month, but I don't really know, so I'll just put a bunch of books out there, and if I get to them, then I get to them. The first book on my TBR, which I actually already read, is The Lost Hero by Riordan. This is the sequel series to the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I was a bit skeptical going into it because I wasn't sure if I would like it as much as Percy Jackson, and this book was a bit slow, but I'm definitely going to be continuing with the series. I don't know if I'll get to it this month, but I will get to it soon because the last book comes out this month. The second book on my October TBR list is Let's Get Lost by Alsaid. I hope I said that right. Sorry if I didn't. I'm actually currently reading this book. I'm actually doing a read-along of Let's Get Lost with my co-owner Hannah of my blog, Cover to Cover, and Zoe, another blogger from So Many Words. We'll be reading this in the month of October, and at the end of the month I think we're doing a Q&A with the author, so pick up the book and read it, and then we can all talk to the author about the book. I found this book at Target and I got so excited because, look guys, it's, oh, where'd it go? Because it is signed by the author, and that never happens in Canada, so I was super stoked and I immediately picked it up, and it's actually really good so far. I'm making lots of notes. I'm going to do a review on it at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that. The next book I want to read, I'm actually reading for my book club at school. It's We Were Liars by, oh crap, We Were Liars. Goodreads app is very helpful. E. Lockhart. Okay. I'm going to be reading We Were Liars by E. Lockhart for my book club at school. It's supposed to be a really dark contemporary, and I'm really excited to read it. If you have read it, let me know what you think of it below, please. I would really like to know. The next book I want to try to get to is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn? Let's go with Gillian Flynn. The movie came out, so I want to read it before seeing the movie. I heard the book is really gripping and really intense, but also more of a new adult kind of book. I don't know. If you read the book, let me know what you think. The next book I want to try to get to is Quarantine the Burnouts by Lex Thomas. This is the third and final book in the Quarantine series. I am super stoked about it. It's one of my favorite series of all time. I really want to know what happens to the characters and how the story ends because it's such an intense dystopian, but it's also kind of modern age. It is intense and it's relatable, especially since I go to high school. So when we were reading this series, my friends and I actually considered bringing like phone chargers to school in case it happened. You never know. Last book I want to try to get to is the Booksplosion Book of the Month, and it's Black Ice by Fitzpatrick. I really want to participate in the Booksplosion. It will be my first time, and I really hope I can get to the book. If I don't, then I will make sure I will read it eventually because I love the Hush Hush series. So that's it for my September wrap-up and my October TBR. Let me know what you guys read in the month of September and what you are planning on to read in October. I'm sorry there wasn't very many spooky books that I'm reading this month because it's the month of Halloween, but I just don't have a lot of spooky books on my shelves, and I really have to get through these before I start buying new books, which I know won't happen. I know I'll buy more books soon. You can follow me on my Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and my blog. I'll put the links down below. I'll also put the link to the Goodreads discussion page on Let's Get Lost. Use the hashtag Let's All Get Lost if you decide to read the book, and we can find your posts and your Twitters and your Instagrams about it. I hope you all get a lot of reading done in the month of October, and I hope I do too. So good luck, thanks for watching, and keep on reading, guys!